All right, let's dive into a collection of texts that absolutely changed the game for Indian philosophy, the Upanishads. We're about to go on a pretty serious inner journey. For basically all of human history, we've been asking the same huge questions. Who are we really? What is all this? These aren't just questions you ponder late at night. They are the absolute core of what the Upanishads are trying to answer. Now, to really get what makes the Upanishads so special, we have to look at the world they came from. Because honestly, they represent this massive shift in thinking, a move away from just external ritual and toward an internal reality. So the sacred texts that came before them, the Vedas, they were mostly focused on external stuff, ceremonies, rites, things you do to please the gods and keep the cosmos in balance. The Upanishads didn't just throw that away, but they completely reframed it. The focus turned from what you're doing on the outside to what you understand on the inside. I mean, just look at the difference here. On one side, the early Vedas were all about action, chanting mantras, performing rituals and sacrifices. Then come the Upanishads and boom, the focus is completely inward. Meditation, philosophy, and this deep, deep dive into self-knowledge. It was a total revolution in consciousness. And this brings us right to the heart of it all. If the journey is inward, what are we even looking for? Well, the answer lies in two of the most profound ideas in all of Indian thought. Okay, first up, you have Brahman. The best way to think about Brahman is, well, it's everything. It's the ultimate, absolute reality. Not some god up in the clouds, but the actual fabric of existence itself. The single unifying energy that connects everything. And then, on the other side of the coin, you have Atman. And Atman, that's you. It's your individual soul, your consciousness, the very core of who you are when you strip away your body, your thoughts, your ego. It's that spark inside. So you have the universe, Brahman, and you have the individual self, Atman. What's the connection? Well, this is probably the biggest mic drop moment in the Upanishads. They declare, Tat Tvam Asi, which means that thou art. And get this, it's not saying your little soul is just a part of the cosmic ocean. No, it's saying your soul is the ocean. The spark inside you is identical to the fire of the entire cosmos. It's a radical idea that suggests the feeling of being a separate person might just be an illusion. But here's the catch. Realizing this incredible truth isn't just some intellectual puzzle you solve. The Upanishads are really, really clear that this whole inner journey has to be built on a solid foundation of living a good, ethical life. It makes sense, right? You can't find mental clarity if your life is a mess. The texts basically teach that living a moral life helps to purify your mind. It settles the waters so you can see the truth at the bottom. In this view, ethics and deep spiritual insight aren't separate things. They're totally connected. And this foundation is built on a few key virtues. You have ahimsa, or nonviolence, which just flows naturally from seeing yourself in all other beings. There's satya, truthfulness, which is about living in a way that lines up with reality. Dhamma, or self-discipline, which you absolutely need to quiet your mind. And daya, compassion, which is the emotional result of realizing that deep down, we are all one. This quote from the Taittiriya Upanishad really just nails it. It's a simple, direct instruction for how to live, speak the truth, follow righteousness. Easy to say, but a lifetime to master. Okay, so this idea of self-discipline sounds good, but how do you actually do it? Well, the Katha Upanishad gives us this amazing metaphor that's been used for centuries to explain it. So picture this. Your body is a chariot. The passenger riding in the chariot is your true self, your Atman. The horse is pulling it. Those are your five senses, and they are wild, always wanting to gallop off after whatever they see or hear. And who's holding the reins? That's the charioteer, your intellect. If your intellect is strong and focused, you guide the chariot where it needs to go. But if it's weak, the horses run wild and drag you into chaos. Now, as you can probably guess, ideas this powerful didn't just stay put in ancient India. They created waves that spread all over the world and across a ton of time. So, after they were first composed thousands of years ago, these texts became the foundation for major schools of Hindu philosophy, like Advaita Vedanta. But it didn't stop there. By the 1800s, translations started making their way to the West, where they just blew the minds of Western thinkers. I mean, just listen to this quote from the famous German philosopher, Arthur Schopenhauer. He said the Upanishads were the solace of his life and would be the solace of his death. I mean, wow, that is about as strong an endorsement as you can get. Okay, so this is all fascinating stuff, but let's get real. Why does any of this matter to us right now in our world of social media, deadlines, and constant noise? Well, maybe now more than ever. Think about it. Ahimsa, nonviolence, seems pretty useful in a world filled with conflict and an environmental crisis. Satya, truthfulness, a crucial virtue when we're drowning in misinformation. And Dhamma, self-discipline, in an age of endless digital distractions, finding a way to master our own attention is probably one of the most important skills for our mental health. In the end, the Upanishads aren't just ancient texts to be put on a shelf. They're an invitation. They're a map for an inner journey to figure out who you are and what this is all about. So the real question isn't just about what's in the texts, it's where will your journey begin?